Yes, you're gonna win an Oscar.
I mean,
That's why we did it.
honestly, I'll tell you this. I don't even know if it still exists, but I do think we deserve an MTV Movie Award for Best Kiss.
It does still exist.
Let's get that buzz going.
Why do you feel like comedies like The Naked Gun are so hard to pull off in modern times?
It's a kind of a storm of a couple factors. I think that like the genre in a lot of ways moved over to like a more sincere, heartfelt kind of Apatowian, Mike Schur kind of place. Which again, those are brilliant, perfect comedians and pieces of art that they've made. But I think that became the template for a lot of this stuff in a way that made these sort of less sincere movies feel somehow not in the mainstream anymore. I think that coincided probably with a burnout, frankly, of the genre. That I think for us a really important part of what makes a good spoof movie is really being very attached hard to the genre you're spoofing. And I think when these movies maybe started to feel a little bit more like MTV awards sketches or skits, where it was like, oh, it's this movie, but it's also sort of just pop culture references in general. I think that it became a little more diffuse in a way that was just not as true to the genre. And I think that the tone of sketch comedians and really silly comedy stuff in a lot of ways got subsumed into the larger tone of bigger budget movies. Like the Taika Waitikis and the Jordan Peels all have these sketch sensibilities that they're putting into blockbuster movies, horror movies. And so I've been saying, like, I think Deadpool is closer to
Deadpool 3. Yeah.
Deadpool 3 is closer to Naked Gun than it is to Batman, right? And like, there's a silly, sketchy sensibility that is still there, just that they sort of figured out how to make more money out of it.
I think that pulling off, like you said, making comedies work in this time. I think writing comedy is hard. I'm not patting ourselves on the back here, but there's an earnestness about being like, I'm trying to be funny and just funny. It's hard, and you will fall on your face. And there is not an appetite right now. It didn't feel like in the business for a while to make movies at a certain price point, in a mid range, in movies that won't go on to make $1 billion. That's just not going to happen. In taking swings for singles and doubles, where it's just really like, the appetite is just shrunk for that, and price point has shrunk, and people not seeing the value in that. But comedy has always been tough to make, but we're all here just trying to make it. There's a large group of us that still want to make it, still want to see it in the theaters. Hopefully people will go do that for Naked Gun, so that others can be made. They can be like, yeah, there's a path to do this. Everything doesn't need to be a ride at Universal or a ride at Disney. This can just be a comedy that you experience and you remember going with friends, and then you watch it at home.
I think that's the problem with criticism today. I think that's the problem with movies today in general, is that I feel like so many people are trying to one up one another, and like everyone's like has to rave about everything, that it's just so rare to just kind of come out of a movie and just be like, you know what? That was fun. I had a good time with it.
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with that? Like, It doesn't have to go on. Like, like we talked about at the beginning, like the whole joking thing about the awards campaign for this film. It's just like, it would be hilarious to see that happen just because it would be so out of the ordinary.
Yeah,
and like, again, like I'm asking, why couldn't it happen? Given we say all this pretentious shit that most normal people won't even like go see.
Yeah.
And then you're hoping that this movie will actually catch on and find an audience and that people will relate to it.
Yeah.
So
I've been saying that for years when Pixar it's still amazing. When they were on their run of like, WALL-E is like, no, that's just Best Picture. It's not Best Animated Picture.
Yes.
Inside Out is just a brilliant screenplay. That's Best Screenplay. That's not like that. What are you talking about? Why it doesn't need an asterisk on it? Like, what are we doing here? Like, this is a valid form of art. It's a valid form of this medium. Like, what are we doing? Like, we don't everything doesn't have to be this very narrow definition of what high art is. It's just, so yeah, we're in complete agreement.
I want to talk a little bit about when you know a joke goes too far. At
The
what
third
point do you
round.
what
I know
point do
you
you
tell
know
us. Did we go too far?
Yeah, I know. I mean,
No,
honestly,
no, I love. Listen, you snuck some good shit in there, like
thank
that
you.
Bill Cosby line. That was great.
Thank you.
But that those are questions.
I mean, yeah. I mean, honestly, the thing for us, the real of how to write these movies is a volume business. For the 100 jokes that are in the movie that work, we wrote 1,000 jokes, and so and that's not an exaggeration. I mean, that there are all packet on this movie was literally 800 pages, and so that for us was a big part of the testing process of like editing and writing and we made a lot more content than we actually put on screen with this exact intent, which is like we're gonna do stuff, we're gonna go, we're gonna try to make jokes that maybe feel a little edgy. You have to surprise the audience to be funny. I mean, that's its own rule of comedy, is like something has to be surprising to be funny. And then sometimes you go maybe a step too far, but thankfully we showed this to friends. We had wonderful producers and studio partners and test screenings. And that's the joy of making a comedy, is that the laughter is the truth.
Yeah.
And if the joke's not getting laughs, if it's getting kind of the wrong kind of groans. We had a couple jokes in the movie that maybe got the wrong kind of groans.
Maybe just bum people out more than made them laugh.
And
it's a lot like I think it's a lot like I attribute a lot to like when a stand-up is putting together an hour set, but going out and trying new material, and then that worked, that didn't work based on this kind of laugh. You know what, that didn't work, but maybe it was a timing thing. I'm going to try it again this way, see how people react, and look. And at the end, you just have to go with God and be like, I know this hasn't killed in a screening, but I just believe in it. And sometimes, then you're going to hear, like, we hear back from audiences. Sometimes they'll be like, they'll like jokes in the movie that like never get huge laughs. They'll be like, that was my favorite joke. And be like, oh, that's great, because we really liked it and believed in it. And at a certain point, you just got to kind of get behind the things you believe in. There's things that are on the line. You're like, this isn't a clear home run, but I do believe in it.
Yeah, I think to me, we came up doing live comedy at the Upright Citizens Brigade Theater, and it's something that you learn performing in front of an audience, is that like they tell you like, that was funny enough to be worth it. I mean, that's really just juice worth the squeeze. No pun on O.J. Simpson intended. Like it's that's sort of the answer is in the laugh.
What is your favorite joke that actually made it into the movie? And then what is your least favorite joke that made it into the movie that you're like, I can't believe actually made it into this?
Oh, I mean, I'll say that. I mean, the joke that still like makes me giggle every time, no matter what, is Danny Houston's read at the end when he gets punched in the stomach and he goes, "My tummy! You punched me in the soft part of my belly!" Like
and my favorite part is actually even within that when he goes, "Is that normal?" Like he's like, to me, there's just I remember us talking about it and loving that bit, and then he takes it to a different level.
Yeah, that was always something we were always practice up, and in so many ways, like it's a joke that culminates the movie, where it's like, you've been building these two as equal and opposite foes for an hour and a half, and so for the ending to be such a rug pull on like, oh no, he can't fight, of course he can't fight, and for us has always felt great, and so that joke's, no matter how many times I've seen the movie, which is 1,000 at this point, still consistently cracks me up.
It does, yeah, me too.
And then every joke in this movie is a darling. I love them all.
I wouldn't get rid of any of them.
No, I know, because the truth is, every joke that's in the movie, there's 9 other jokes that I was in love with that I'm sad don't get to see the light of day.
Yeah.
And so everyone that's there,
hopefully we'll get to write them.
I know we'll just repackage them into the sequel, and it'll be half as good.
So I was going to ask, is there going to be like an extended cut if this movie does well?
They did cut a blooper reel. I mean, but not blooper reel. They cut like a reel of like alts and stuff. And like I mean, I don't know how Paramount marketing is gonna to play with all that material, but sincerely, this movie probably has more hilarious and excellent like cut content than most movies that are the actual movie.
Yeah.
I sincerely believe that every line had several very good alternate jokes also filmed, and moments and stuff that I think is
It's one of the downsides of not having like DVDs or VHS before anymore. Like the idea of an extended cut or deleted scenes is like becomes this like, is it worth it for the business side of things to release it? Because it used to be about like,
it helped the sales.
It helped the sales, and now you're getting the extended cut. That's why we're re-releasing this DVD, and it feels like. So I hope so. The answer is I hope that stuff lives out there, because I think if you love the movie, there's more stuff to enjoy.
Thank you both. We could have
Thank
talked
you.
for like 30
Scott.
more minutes, but
Thank you,
hopefully
Scott. I
someday
appreciate
in
it.
the future. Take care.
Talk Ninja Turtles later.
All right. Bye.